Continuing from previous chapter, as Xiao Yin heals, he learns of the upcoming Mystic Three Heavens event, a crucial opportunity for him to explore the Xianling continent and further his own mysterious journey. There was still some distance to go before reaching the place where Qing Yuan was resting, and Xiao Yin, feeling a bit eager, asked his master, the Golden Dragon King, "Master, which sect should we join?" After Yu Yu's recent explanation, Xiao Yin was quite excited, knowing that Mystic Three Heavens on the Xianling continent was a place where true experts gathered. He believed it would be a spectacular place. Although this time the relic of the demonic beast caused such a disturbance that none of the prodigies around Qing City were able to obtain its fortune, you, on the other hand, managed to gain it. The envoy who comes to welcome you will definitely notice this and will likely invite you to join the Xianling royal family. But let me tell you, the Xianling royal family is no good. I once traveled through the Xianling royal family and remember a young royal who sought medicine from the sect leader for his lowborn wife. The royal family responded by sentencing the woman to death. They claimed it was for the man's own good, but I see it as the royal family maintaining their status. Because that man was of noble blood and his love was for a commoner, the Xianling royal family, driven by the imperial clan behind them, did what they did. Without a Dou Xian, Dou Immortal, supporting them, do you think the Xianling royal family could become the top power on this continent? While it's true that the Xianling royal family is indeed the strongest sect, that's only because they have the backing of Dou Xian experts. But compared to other sects, they are actually the weakest. Other powerful sects on the Xianling continent have clear management and reward mechanisms, disregarding birth or status. They value effort and dedication, giving everyone a fair chance to compete for cultivation resources. But the Xianling royal family is different. As long as you have status, you can manipulate anything within it. The Golden Dragon King recalled this with some effort. Who would have thought the royals could be so dark-hearted? Xiao Yin clicked his tongue. A royal family behaving like this, aren't they afraid of being overthrown? Many factions have likely harbored discontent toward the royal family over the years, but they are powerless against the imperial backing and the strategic value of the Dou Xian experts. So, they dare not act rashly, the Golden Dragon King replied slowly. Besides, I suspect that the sacred flame is somehow related to the Xianling royal family as well. The Golden Dragon King's eyes deepened as he spoke. So, should I still join the Xianling royal family? Xiao Yin asked. No. Although the flames you possess may not be as powerful as the sacred flame, they are still quite formidable. There's a risk that others might covet them, and with a Dou Xian around, my presence could also be detected. Judging by what we've seen, it's possible that the Soul Clan has also colluded with Solomon, so I must remain hidden for now. Moreover, we have another purpose for coming to the Xianling continent. I wonder if my old friend is still doing well. We must obtain the sacred flame, and when the time comes, we must unravel the connection between the Soul Clan and Solomon. In the past, Toasha suffered greatly from the Soul Clan's schemes. As the Golden Dragon King spoke, a flash of resentment appeared in his eyes. I understand, Master. Don't worry. Xiao Yin reassured him. The two continued their journey in silence until they arrived in front of a wooden hut. Even my father was at a loss with her condition. You should prepare yourself mentally. Outside the serene wooden hut, Yu Ru suddenly spoke. All right. Xiao Yan was curious about Qing Yuan's situation. It was surprising that even Yu Yu, the head of the Yu family and a formidable 5-star Dou Di, couldn't figure it out. However, with his master present, Xiao Yin wasn't too worried. You're underestimating this little girl, Qing Yuan. A mere 5-star Dou Di is unworthy even to carry her shoes in the future. Even while residing in the ring, the Golden Dragon King could see through Xiao Yan's thoughts, leaving Xiao Yin feeling helpless. He sighed inwardly. Did his master really have to read his mind so thoroughly? Yu Ru gently pushed open the slightly closed wooden door, and Xiao Yin, without a second thought, followed her inside. The small hut was simple and unadorned with minimal decoration. Yet everything essential was present. Xiao Yin walked gently towards the bed. A beautiful figure lay flat on it. Upon closer inspection, the figure was indeed quite captivating. The only flaw was that the woman on the bed had her beautiful eyes tightly shut, and her body was surrounded by a pure white glow. Qing Yuan. Xiao Yin furrowed his brow slightly, then softly called out to the woman on the bed. Shush, shush, shush. You can't wake her up like this, Yu said with a slight frown, her beautiful eyes clouded with worry as she looked at the girl on the bed. Even with my father's abilities, he brought in many powerful experts, but none of them, despite their vast knowledge and experience, could do anything. Xiao Yin recalled Yu mentioning that this seemed to be her younger sister. Oh, her energy is starting to leak out. It seems there isn't much time left. The Golden Dragon King's voice slowly echoed in Xiao Yan's mind. Master, what's going on here? Xiao Yin asked through soul communication with the Golden Dragon King. Given his master's vast knowledge and experience, he was confident he would know the situation. Didn't I mention before that we need to refine the foundation strengthening pill? The answers you seek will become clear once it's refined. But until then, we must not be hasty, the Golden Dragon King said, his tone just as casual as before. Are you sure she's going to be all right? Xiao Yin was clearly worried, and he sought more reassurance. There's absolutely no problem. At least, there won't be any for the next month. Beyond that, I can't say for sure, the Golden Dragon King promised earnestly. Xiao Yin had almost forgotten that Yu was still there, being too focused on asking his master about Qing Yuan's situation. Yu looked at Xiao Yin in surprise. He seemed lost, staring blankly at the girl on the bed. Then, with a soft laugh, she muttered to herself, "Who would have thought Xiao Yin cared so much about his sister? Well, now that we have all the necessary herbs, let's start refining the pill." Xiao Yin suddenly snapped back to reality. So suddenly? Yu asked, puzzled. Yes, there's no choice. It was quite difficult to gather the ingredients for this pill, and it should help cure Qing Yuan's condition. She's been in a coma for several days now, so we might as well take this last chance, Xiao Yin said with a hint of helplessness. In that case, we shouldn't waste any time. I'll take you to the alchemy room. Understanding the seriousness of the situation, Yu stood up promptly to lead the way. Thank you, Miss Yu. Xiao Yin quickly followed her. Inside the quiet wooden house, Xiao Yin first closed his eyes, calming his mind and adjusting his state. As his master, the Golden Dragon King, had said, the foundation strengthening pill was listed at the peak of the first rank of the Emperor-grade celestial pills. Without adjusting to his best state, Xiao Yin didn't dare act rashly, as the herbs were extremely rare. Emperor-grade first-rank pills were divided into heaven, earth, and mystic levels. Since the foundation strengthening pill was at the pinnacle of this grade, Xiao Yin had to take it seriously. Amidst this busy preparation, a simple jade pendant, which recorded the souls of Xun Er and the others, slowly slipped out, catching Xiao Yan's eye. Xun Er, Kai Lin, are you both all right? Xiao Yin murmured softly. Back in the Doqi continent, Xun Er and Kai Lin were always by his side, and he, with his thick nerves, never noticed much. But now, with them gone, he suddenly felt something missing, an emptiness in his heart. Realizing this emotion, Xiao Yin felt rather annoyed. He thought back to how, ever since arriving on the Doqi continent, they had been separated, and he didn't know where Xun Er and Kai Lin were. The gentle and lovely girl, like a spring breeze, unknowingly touched his heart. Kai Lin, with her cold exterior but gentle heart, both left a deep imprint in his soul. No matter what, they were impossible to forget. Whenever he thought of the slightly mysterious and elegant girl, Xiao Yin couldn't help but stop his flames, casting his gaze outside the wooden house, not knowing where to direct it. For a moment, he could only sigh softly and mutter, Xun Er, Kai Lin, wait for me. I will find you soon. Don't get distracted. Once things here are settled, I will take you to look for them, the Golden Dragon King comforted, seeing through Xiao Yan's thoughts. Let's begin refining the pill, the Golden Dragon King urged once more. Outside the Xianling continent, there stood a steep, cloud-shrouded mountain range consisting of 7 peaks. The 7 peaks stood tall and formed a mysterious pattern. On one of the peaks, in a solitary pavilion, a graceful figure clad in green sat elegantly before a stone seat, lost in thought. Outside the exquisite pavilion atop the peak, the mist was dense, occasionally revealing itself. The slender waist of the figure was like a willow leaf, barely a handful. Her 3,000 strands of black hair were casually tied with a light purple ribbon, and as the breeze blew, the hair fluttered, giving the woman an ethereal, refined aura. It seemed that the girl had sensed a faint movement from the pavilion. Her eyes, half closed, opened slowly after a moment, and as they did, the surrounding mist rapidly dissipated on its own. Soon, the mountain peak became clear and visible. "Father, have you returned?" Turning her head to look at the familiar figure, the girl's delicate lips parted slightly. Her tone held a hint of anticipation, and a crisp, bell-like voice echoed across the mountaintop. As her voice fell, a shadow beneath the pavilion began to wriggle strangely, quickly transforming into a familiar figure. Upon closer inspection, it was none other than Gu Yuan. "Your perception is quite sharp. It seems your cultivation hasn't slackened during these days," Gu Yuan remarked with a cheerful smile as he appeared. "Father, how did it go? Any news of him?" The girl rose from the stone platform, shedding her previous distracted demeanor. She turned around, revealing a face exuding a refined, pure lotus-like aura. At this moment, there was a rare trace of eagerness in her usually calm voice. And this face could belong to no one other than Xun Er, the one Xiao Yin longed for day and night. It had been about a month since Xun Er and her companions were separated from Xiao Yin. During this month, Xun Er and her father, using the guidance of their bloodline's power, successfully reached the Gu clan on the Do-Di continent. If one advanced to the level of Do-Di from the Do-Chi continent, they could continue to provide the Gu clan with their bloodline power, granting various advantages to their clansmen on the Do-Chi continent and ensuring a steady influx of new strength. Hence, Xun Er and Gu Yuan were warmly welcomed upon their arrival at the Gu clan. However, for reasons unknown, when the clan officials discovered Xun Er's divine bloodline and the Golden Emperor's sky-burning flame within her, they granted them the highest treatment. The 7 peaks of the Gu clan were known as the Immortal Crafting Peaks. Each peak was reserved for those who made exceptional contributions to the Gu clan. The fact that Xun Er and her father could occupy a peak alone was enough to prove the extraordinary nature of the divine bloodline, or, more precisely, the Golden Emperor's sky-burning flame. Xun Er and Gu Yuan could only accept this situation helplessly. Xun Er, with a thoughtful expression, couldn't help but recall the matter of the Golden Emperor's sky-burning flame. The Golden Emperor's sky-burning flame ranked fourth among the 23 heavenly flames on the Do-Chi continent, characterized by its golden color. Although it wasn't as mysterious as the pure lotus demon flame, it was renowned in ancient times. This heavenly flame was the ancestral fire of the Gu clan, and even before Xun Er, few had ever managed to tame it, let alone possess a divine bloodline. Moreover, the Golden Emperor's sky-burning flame was notorious for its terrifying ability to burn even Do-Chi. According to legend, the first master of the Golden Emperor's sky-burning flame could use it to incinerate an entire space created by a Do-Xing expert, reducing it to nothingness. Unable to find any answers, Xun Er and Gu Yuan settled temporarily in the Gu clan. For some reason, the clan restricted all of Xun Er's freedoms, allowing her only to cultivate on the mountain peak. She was neither allowed to descend nor go out, whereas Gu Yuan was not subjected to such strict limitations. Thus, Xun Er requested her father to go out and search for Xiao Yin. Gu Yuan carefully observed his daughter. Compared to her time on the Do-Chi continent, she had clearly matured significantly. Now, she seemed less youthful than when she was on the Do-Chi continent, with an added calmness that came from deep within her soul. However, no matter how much she changed, one thing remained unchanged. Whenever news related to that name reached her ears, the serene state of her mind would ripple with waves. Perhaps, as Ling Ying had once predicted, deep within Xun Er's heart, there would forever remain a shadow. This shadow could not be erased, not even by the imposing presence of the stubborn elders in her clan. Hearing the urgency in Xun Er's tone, Gu Yuan sighed inwardly. She would only truly behave like an ordinary girl when she heard news about Xiao Yin. Ordinarily, she was as calm as an old cultivator who had practiced for countless years, profound and unfathomable, yet lacking the liveliness a young girl should have. As these thoughts passed through his mind, Gu Yuan's face softened with a doting smile, and he nodded gently. I've been searching for some time, but I haven't found any trace of Xiao Yin. Also, Zhukuan and Medusa parted ways with us back then. I believe they should be fine, Gu Yuan said reassuringly. Listening quietly to her father's words, Xun Er lightly pressed her lips together, her clear, expressive eyes blinking gently. Thank you for your efforts, father. Xun Er put away her anxious gaze, bowed slightly, and expressed her gratitude. It's all right. I'll continue searching, Gu Yuan replied. But Xun Er, you must be careful. While this place may be the Gu clan, as far as I know, all the clan's managers, elders, and the clan leaders seem to have disappeared. The current caretaker appears to have some intentions toward you. Moreover, I sense something odd about his aura, but I can't quite pinpoint it. Gu Yuan added cautiously. Don't worry, father. I know what I'm doing. The young woman slowly turned her head, gazing beyond the mist-covered peaks. A soul jade appeared quietly in her delicate hand, and a tiny light within it flickered slowly. Brother Xiao Yin, are you all right? Do you know that Xun Er is thinking of you? A slight chill flashed in her beautiful eyes, and a crystalline tear rolled down along her silky black hair. The soul jade in her hand was tightly gripped. Xiao Yin couldn't help but shiver involuntarily. It didn't make sense. With such high temperatures generated by the heavenly flames during the pill refinement, how could he feel cold? Xiao Yin, don't get distracted, the Golden Dragon King snapped fiercely. The foundation-strengthening pill was already challenging to refine, even among the first rank of the Emperor-grade pills. At this crucial stage of igniting the flames, distraction could easily lead to a mishap, yet this kid dared to let his mind wander. Finding no clear answer, Xiao Yin unleashed an even more intense flame, continuously channeling it into the cauldron, trying to accelerate the melting of the herbs. He composed himself briefly, then flicked his fingers, and a wisp of milky white flame appeared at his fingertips. With the emergence of the flame, the temperature in the wooden house immediately rose, but this posed no hindrance to Xiao Yin. His gaze remained fixed on the medicine cauldron. After a moment, he waved his hand, and the milky white flame shot out once more, flowing effortlessly into the cauldron's fire intake, filling the cauldron's interior. As the milky white flames poured into the medicine cauldron one after another, the cauldron suddenly expanded, and the wooden house turned into a sea of blazing flames, which roared and burned fiercely. Boom! With a sudden explosion, the pitch-black cauldron in the wooden house burst open. Xiao Yin felt a sense of helplessness. For an ordinary alchemist using flames catalyzed by Do Qi, this cauldron would have sufficed. However, his flame, a fusion of 23 types of heavenly flames, was too terrifying for a typical cauldron to contain. Seeing this, Xiao Yin quickly recalled the flames scattered around the wooden house, leaving a small wisp suspended in midair to surround the herbs that had barely begun to show signs of melting. Master, I can't refine pills without a cauldron, right? You said yourself that refining this pill is quite challenging even at my current level, Xiao Yin complained, looking at his master, the Golden Dragon King, in frustration. Although his master, Tuasha Ancient Emperor, had left behind many treasures in the Imperial Flame Ring, Xiao Yin had tried to explore them using Do Qi or soul power, but found it impossible to discern the contents of the ring. It seemed Tuasha feared Xiao Yin might become lazy and unambitious, so he set up a restriction. Faced with this, Xiao Yin had no choice but to seek help from the Golden Dragon King. Trying to swindle something out of me again, the Golden Dragon King sighed helplessly. Take it, take it. With that, the Golden Dragon King's soul power surged into the Imperial Flame Ring, and a finely crafted cauldron emerged from the storage ring and appeared before the two of them. Seeing this, Xiao Yin nodded in satisfaction, and the milky white flames surged violently into the cauldron, continuously releasing terrifying heat. Yet, Despite the increasing temperatures, the red cauldron remained motionless. Even though the heat inside was incredibly intense, the exterior stayed as cool as ice. What a cauldron! His eyes fixed intensely on the magnificent object, Xiao Yin couldn't help but exclaim. Although he hadn't yet begun refining pills with this cauldron, from his probing, he could already guess how much it would aid in the process. In fact, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that using this cauldron could significantly increase the success rate of pill refinement. For an alchemist, what could be more enticing than a cauldron that could enhance their success rate? The fiery red cauldron was quite massive, with a faint red flame swirling around it. The surface of the cauldron was adorned with lifelike flame patterns, and as Xiao Yan's milky white flames poured into it, the cauldron began to rotate slowly. The flame patterns on the surface of the cauldron seemed almost real. Xiao Yan could even sense a faint flame energy gathering around the cauldron. The most noticeable feature of the cauldron was the 7 tiger mouths surrounding it. These tiger mouths were naturally arranged, always ready to control the intensity of the flames, ensuring that the fire was neither too strong to damage the herbs nor too weak to waste time. Xiao Yin clearly remembered his master, Yao Lao, once saying that not all cauldrons had multiple fire openings. Each fire opening had to be meticulously crafted to precise standards. Otherwise, it would be impossible to forge a good cauldron. Therefore, if a cauldron had multiple fire openings, it was highly likely to be an exceptional one. Xiao Yan's eyes shone as he gazed at the imposing cauldron, unable to resist expressing his admiration. Compared to this one, the cauldrons he used before seemed pitiful. Moreover, this cauldron was clearly more than just aesthetically pleasing. From the flame patterns around it and the 7 fire openings that automatically gathered flame energy, it was evident that it greatly enhanced the alchemy process. A cauldron, just like flames, is one of the most important tools in an alchemist's arsenal. A good cauldron can significantly increase the success rate of pill refinement. This cauldron is called Blazing Flame. Tuasha paid a great price to obtain it back then, the Golden Dragon King said with deep emotion, gazing at the fiery red cauldron hovering mid-air. Blazing Flame? It certainly lives up to its reputation. Xiao Yin clicked his tongue in admiration, shaking his head. Having had little experience with such cauldrons, he was naturally unfamiliar with the name. However, Xiao Yin knew well that a good cauldron held a fervent allure for an alchemist, comparable to that of heavenly flames. Just like the sacred flame ranking, the alchemy world also has a sacred cauldron ranking. As the name suggests, the cauldron ranking records those exceptionally perfect and outstanding cauldrons. There are 23 cauldrons listed in the ranking. Each of these cauldrons possesses a magical allure that draws countless alchemists to it, the Golden Dragon King explained, noticing Xiao Yan's astonished expression. And in that cauldron ranking, the cauldron ranked 18th is known as Blazing Flame. Seeing Xiao Yan's amazement, the Golden Dragon King chuckled, but did not elaborate on the cauldron's origin. He merely gave a slight shake of his hand, and the milky white flame quickly coiled around his palm. Xiao Yin slowly moved his hand toward one of the diamond-shaped openings of the Blazing Flame cauldron. With a flick of his fingers, the milky white flame spiraled inside the cauldron. For an alchemist, heavenly flames and sacred flames are both born of the natural world's fiery essence. When used in pill refinement, the pills produced are far superior to ordinary ones, the Golden Dragon King continued. As the milky white flame swirled, the temperature inside the cauldron gradually reached the level Xiao Yin needed. During this time, he repeatedly reviewed the refining method for the foundation strengthening pill. The Golden Dragon King had already passed this pill recipe to him, but Xiao Yin had been too preoccupied with the relics to attempt it. After mentally running through the recipe for the foundation strengthening pill several times, Xiao Yin finally felt his mind settle. With a flick of his sleeve, several herbs before him were deftly sent into the blazing cauldron. Gazing at the fiery red cauldron before him, Xiao Yin took a deep breath. Opening his mouth, he released a massive burst of milky white flame. With a flick of his finger, the flame arced beautifully into the cauldron, exploding inside it with a sudden burst. The roaring flames churned continuously within the cauldron, and the rising temperature gradually added a hint of stuffiness to the wooden house. As the flames surged, Xiao Yin waved his sleeve again. A multitude of herbs flew out from the storage ring, suspended in mid-air within the wooden house. They hovered like tiny glowing orbs, creating a dazzling display when viewed from below. The Foundation Strengthening Pill, a heaven-rank pill of the first rank in the Emperor grade, has the miraculous ability to improve physical constitution, awaken dormant potential within the body, and significantly enhance cultivation aptitude. The ingredients required for its refinement are extremely complicated, numbering about 107 types. Among these, 5 are the primary ingredients: snow marrow Ganoderma, greenwood fruit, dragon blood immortal vine, an Emperor rank dragon class magic core, and the blood essence of an Emperor rank or higher magical beast. Each of these materials is rare and precious, making them incredibly difficult to find. Fortunately, my master's ring contains some of the materials, and with the magic cores from the relics, I have only one chance at this. The refinement method is also quite meticulous and demanding. The refining method for the Foundation Strengthening Pill gradually surfaced in Xiao Yan's mind, with every critical detail etched deeply in his memory. A pill that required 107 different ingredients. This was the first time Xiao Yan had encountered such a complex formula. Even during the Alchemist Association's examination, he hadn't faced anything this intricate. This alone highlighted the difficulty of refining the Foundation Strengthening Pill, likely surpassing even the morphing pill he had refined before. Miscellaneous thoughts flashed through his mind, but were swiftly dismissed. Xiao Yin raised his head, sensing the temperature inside the cauldron. With a slight nod, he subtly adjusted his fingers. The raging milky white flames within the cauldron gradually diminished. His eyes fixed intently on the cauldron. After a brief moment, Xiao Yin moved his fingers again, and a bright light flashed. It transformed into a milky white Ganoderma, falling into his hand. As soon as this Ganoderma appeared, it exuded a rich, icy aura, within which a faintly pure energy could be sensed. This was one of the main ingredients for refining the Foundation Strengthening Pill, snow marrow Ganoderma. It was extremely challenging to form and could only emerge from the ice-covered earth in places of extreme cold. Xiao Yin gently rubbed his fingers over the surface of the snow marrow Ganoderma, feeling the faintly chilling, pure energy it contained. He exhaled lightly and flicked his fingers. The Ganoderma turned into a red streak as it was thrown into the cauldron. As the snow marrow Ganoderma was added, the dormant, milky white flames in the cauldron suddenly surged like a ravenous wolf, devouring it whole. Just as the flames consumed the snow marrow Ganoderma, Xiao Yan's fingers danced rapidly. Nearly 10 of the many glowing spots hovering in mid-air immediately shot forward, one after another, plunging into the cauldron and diving straight into the flames without hesitation. The snow marrow Ganoderma was inherently cold and would perish upon contact with fire. To extract its medicinal liquid, it was necessary to neutralize its cold nature with other medicinal ingredients. The herbs previously added to the cauldron had been meticulously prepared to serve this purpose. Refining so many medicinal ingredients simultaneously requires a significant amount of soul power. But fortunately, Xiao Yin now possesses the qualifications and strength to handle this task. The various herbs that rushed into the flames with just a few breaths began to wither rapidly upon contact with the milky white flames. Eventually, their bodies disintegrated into powder, leaving behind only droplets of pure medicinal liquid. Under the exquisite control of Xiao Yan's soul power, these droplets were slightly fused and then evenly dripped onto the increasingly withered snow marrow Ganoderma. As the medicinal liquid dripped down, the milky white surface of the snow marrow Ganoderma began to fade slowly. Flakes of white powder peeled off from it, and within moments, the color of the snow marrow Ganoderma turned pale. A few drops of faint white medicinal liquid fell onto the blood-red powdery flakes. Under the steady surrounding temperature, the outer layer quietly melted away. The true essence of the snow marrow Ganoderma lies within rather than on the surface. What follows now is a slow wait. Watching the snow marrow Ganoderma melt at a snail's pace inside the cauldron, Xiao Yin did not relax. With a wave of his hand, he began the extraction of the second ingredient. His ability to multitask and divide his soul power into multiple streams to control the refining of different herbs was precisely Xiao Yan's advantage. Inside the fiery red cauldron, the snow marrow Ganoderma was slowly melting under the power of the heavenly flames. The moment the greenwood fruit was added to the cauldron, the raging milky white flames immediately engulfed it. However, strangely enough, despite the terrifying high temperature of the milky white flames, the greenwood fruit wasn't easily affected. No wonder it's the greenwood fruit, a palm-sized fruit entirely green, and yet it's even tougher than the snow marrow Ganoderma. Xiao Yin muttered to himself. The refinement of the greenwood fruit took an hour. After the outermost layer of its green peel peeled away, a golden yellow fruit was revealed inside. Xiao Yin knew this was the hardest part of the greenwood fruit, so he continued steadily, increasing the intensity of the flames. The cauldron now hosted two equally matched opponents, with the snow marrow Ganoderma and the greenwood fruit each enveloped by a ball of flame, melting slowly. As the dragon blood immortal vine was added, the cauldron presented a three-pronged standoff. The rarity of the dragon blood immortal vine was slightly higher than the previous two ingredients. After all, this herb had a very stringent origin. It could only possibly be born in a place bathed in dragon blood. The moment the dragon blood immortal vine entered the cauldron, it was immediately surrounded by fierce flames. Xiao Yin quickly waved his hand again, adding several more herbs. The power of the dragon blood immortal vine was too domineering. It had to be neutralized with other ingredients, or it could cause the pill to be destroyed and the alchemist harmed during the final condensation stage. After completing these steps and observing the three-way balance inside the cauldron, Xiao Yin finally relaxed. With a wave of his hand, a bloody magic core was thrown directly into the cauldron. This was the dragon-type magic core obtained from the bloodthirsty demon dragon lizard. The magic core didn't require much technique. It only needed to be slowly refined and melted by the flames. Seeing the first step of the refinement completed successfully, Xiao Yin let out a sigh of relief. With another wave of his hand, the flames wrapped around the ingredients, and the gradually emanating heat caused the four flames within the cauldron to shrink slowly in size. The ingredients inside also melted at a steady pace. Refining pills is an extremely time-consuming process, and the higher the grade of the pill, the more precious the required ingredients, and thus the longer the refinement time needed. After all, this was no ordinary pill. Even with Xiao Yan's flames, formed from the fusion of 23 types of heavenly flames, dealing with these ingredients still took a considerable amount of time. Xiao Yin maintained his focus, carefully adjusting the flames and soul power, ensuring that each step of the refinement process proceeded smoothly. He knew that a single mistake could ruin all the rare ingredients he had painstakingly gathered. As time passed, the herbs inside the cauldron gradually began to break down and merge. The greenwood fruit, the snow marrow Ganoderma, and the dragon blood immortal vine slowly released their essences, mixing with the energy of the dragon-type magic core. Xiao Yin could sense the growing stability within the cauldron, a sign that the ingredients were beginning to harmonize. Yet he knew this was merely the beginning. The real challenge would come when condensing all these essences into a single pill, a process that required even more precision and control. He took a deep breath, his eyes sharp and focused. The road ahead was still long, but Xiao Yin was determined. This pill was crucial not only for its potential effects, but also for his growth as an alchemist. There was no room for error. With renewed determination, Xiao Yin continued his delicate dance of flames and soul power, every movement measured and precise, guiding the alchemical process toward its successful conclusion.